What's up, everyone? Did you miss us? It's JK Sports. I'm Kevin. He's Jack, and we're back after a hiatus. Uh, just off the top, just been really busy working a couple jobs. That's why just haven't been able to catch as much sports as we wanted to, and we wouldn't want to talk sports out of our behinds. Even though we do that anyway, we don't want to be even worse at talking sports than we already are. So that's why we've been away from y'all for a minute. Mostly been on my end. You know, Jack's always down to talk about sports, but
That's right.
yeah. But we fired the mics up, Jack, because we watched an awesome game tonight. Iowa State, Houston, college basketball. I mean, we talked about it in November and December about just how good of a product it's been this season. And breaking news, it's continued. And tonight's game, I thought, really showcased that. What did you think overall of tonight's game? Iowa State beating Houston um, in Hilton Coliseum, Jack.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm a Big 12 homer because BYU's in the Big 12, but this was a Final Four matchup, in my opinion. I look at last year and you see that the top four teams, the all number one seeds, it was pretty clear that those were the top four teams in the nation. But you can honestly make any argument, probably for any team in the top 10, to make a Final Four run at this point in the season, which is something that we are not used to seeing in the college basketball realm. And so to see this matchup against the number 2 ranked team in Houston against the 6th ranked, you think of that on paper and you're like, oh, Houston's going to beat them by probably 5. But Iowa State was the favored team, and they showed, in my opinion, that it is not always about the stars on someone's name, and it's not always the fact of how much talent you have on a team or on a roster, because nobody really screams on this Iowa State team. But the reason why they won is their point guard decided to go crash the glass when they're up 2 and get a massive offensive rebound to really seal the game for Iowa State. And so heart over stars
Yeah,
is what I saw in this game.
for sure. I mean, there was a lot of heart. I mean, you have Taman Lipsey, who was all over diving on the floor for loose balls. In the second half, especially, like Houston really picked up their intensity and aggressiveness on the offensive boards. That was one of the reasons why they were able to take an 8-point lead. The first half I thought was just really high level execution and shot making on offense. And then the shots stopped falling in the second half for the most part. Obviously, Houston went on that big run in the second half to get up. I think it was 8, but Sharp went to the bench with his 4th foul, and then Iowa State was just clawing back. Like you talked about it, they don't have one guy. Some nights it's Milan Montilovic, other nights it's Taman Lipsey, some nights it's Joshua Jefferson. Tonight, Cam Heisey was 3 of 3 and had the go ahead shot at the end of regulation with a minute left. Like Iowa State's really special because they just have this group that's played together for a long time that you don't really see in college basketball anymore. Like Jefferson, Lipsey, Montilovich, they've all been together at least 2 years. They might be going into their 3rd year of all playing on the same team together. And when you have that kind of talent with that type of chemistry, then you get these really good games. And you said it, Jack, like Big 12 has been awesome this year. And it's going to be with Houston going down tonight, it's going to be a great finish because in conference, there's 3 teams with 3 losses and 2 teams with 2 losses. That top 5 right now, it's going to be a circus. It's going to be a movie to see the finish of the Big 12 this year, Jack. Who out of the top 5 teams do you think is going to come out with it?
Man, I think Houston will win the regular season. I guess, championship,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
right.
Um, but it's such a, I mean, you could literally pick any of those 5 teams at this point and say they're gonna go win the Big 12.
Right.
Um, I'll be in Kansas City for that tournament, which is super
Nice.
exciting. Super
Dope.
excited to see that. Um, and just because it's high quality ball all around,
Yeah.
and that's why I think any 5 of those teams could win, because you've seen all 5 of those teams beat each other, and that's what's going to happen in Kansas City.
Yeah. We saw Arizona drop 2 in a row last week after being, the consensus number 1 team in the country for basically since Michigan lost. And honestly, a lot of people thought that they were the number 1 team before that Michigan lost anyway. Um, do you think this is Arizona like coming back down to earth and they're in the pack, or do you still, I mean, you said you think Houston wins out. Obviously, they play this Saturday. So does that mean you think Arizona or Houston's going to beat Arizona on Saturday and win the conference?
Think it does happen, and that's no shot to Arizona, because I think that they are one of the most complete teams. It's just the fact that that game's getting played in Texas instead of Arizona. And that's what it comes down to, in my opinion, is home court in the Big 12 is as big of as an advantage as you're going to see in college hoops. Um, that being said, I really do, going back to your question, I love the way that Texas Tech is playing right now. And that would be my pick if I had to choose one right now to win the Big 12 come March.
Okay, dude. So and I've been talking with other college basketball hoop heads. I want to pick Texas Tech so bad. You won't find a bigger Christian Anderson fan than me. And JT Toppin is obviously a top 5 player in college basketball. He probably doesn't get the shine that he deserves. I mean, Cam Boozer is the runaway favorite for player of the year, but what JT Toppin has done this year, and mind you, he beat Duke. He beat Cam Boozer in that Duke team. Um, like JT Toppin has been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the 3 through 5 on that roster is just it's so hard for me to trust those 3 compared to obviously the balance that we saw from Houston and Iowa State today. Kansas, they're one of the most confusing teams. Obviously, the Darren Peterson situation is one of the more fascinating storylines to watch in the country this year. And then Arizona looked like world beaters until the last week, but they're still super balanced as well. And as much as I love the star power, I just think, especially this year in college basketball, what we've seen, the well balanced teams are going to be the ones that win more often than not. And so I think I'm still going to go with Arizona. I think they bounce back Wednesday against BYU without Richie Saunders. Obviously, huge blow to BYU. We'll get to that next. But for me right now, I think I'm still going with Arizona. I think they beat Houston. I think they just overpower Houston in the paint. And you beat Houston, and then you're in the lead. Then you're in the lead of the Big 12 with 2 weeks left in the regular season. So Arizona's still my pick. I'm obviously a little bit of a homer. My mom's a U of A grad, and so that I'm not as big of a U of A fan as I am a BYU fan, but they still hold a place in my heart for sure. Jack, any other thoughts on the Big 12 before we get to perhaps the most disappointing team in the Big 12?
I don't think I'm ready for this conversation, but I am ready to move on.
Dude, I'm not. Okay, let's start Richie Saunders go.
I mean, so I was watching the game by myself, and I mean, I was kind of just getting situated watching the game, and I look up and Richie's on the floor, and I was just like, "What the heck happened?" So took a rewind, saw it live, and right as he came down, like I just knew it was an ACL. I mean, it's just the classic. That's how you fall. That's how you grab your knee. Like that's gonna be an ACL. As much as I didn't want to say that, because
Yeah.
when he was walking off the court, he was giving thumbs up, saying he was fine, but like it's not gonna happen. And it's just the biggest blow, especially to this type of team for BYU, where they rely so heavily on this trio to lose one of those three-headed monsters. It's not the cut off a head and two grow on this team. It's cut off a head
Yeah.
and you're left with two.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, Richie and AJ and Rob are gonna have to show up and give you 60 a night combined, which is not sustainable in the slightest. I do like, however, how Mua's been playing. I like how he's been getting involved more. Not much as not as much as a catch and shoot guy as we've been seeing throughout the season. These last 3 to 4 games, he's been slashing, he's been cutting, we've been finding him on layups rather than just giving him catch and shoot. So that's a good sign, but he's not Richie Saunders, and neither is Bolskovich, neither is Mboop, neither is any of these guys. So this guy you can't replace. You can't replace the heart, you can't replace the dedication, and it's just the biggest blow to how special this BYU team could have been.
Yeah. With Richie, obviously just devastating for him because I mean he's gonna go down as an all-time great BYU player. One. Two, this is devastating for his future career in basketball because, if this happens in September or October, he's healthy enough that he's able to show NBA teams what he can do come April, May, June during the workouts, right? He's not going to be able to work out for NBA teams and show that he is one of the best players. Maybe not a first round pick, but I think with the way college basketball is trending, where if you have eligibility and you're not a first round pick, stay because you can make a ton of money in college and it's just not there in the NBA. So the pool of players he was going against mostly was going to be guys that were also running out of eligibility. And I thought he was a for sure draft pick. Like for sure. Now, I'm not sure. And he's unlike what is it, February? He's not going to be able to play summer league. Um like he'll be lucky if he's even on a roster when the NBA tips off next season. And that's not because he's not that good of a player. It's the unfortunate circumstance of when this injury happened for him. And it's just unfortunate because you couldn't have picked a worse time for him for an injury like this to happen to him personally. Now, now shifting focus to BYU is Jack, I'm not going to lie. It was against TCU in Utah in January, and I watched them play, and they struggled with both of those teams. And I was kind of out there, but I told my brothers that I would be very surprised, shocked, honestly, if that BYU team made a Sweet 16. Not even a Final Four, but just a Sweet 16. Because unfortunately, Jack, I've seen this story before with a certain head coach and certain talented players. Like I've seen this story before many times in college basketball and in the NBA, and they were showing all the signs once again. And I was early to it because I'd seen it before far too often in my life. But this team just wasn't deep enough 4 through 8 for them to really, obviously if they got like 70 from the big three, they could go on a run in March, right? But it just hasn't worked with any of the guys that they've brought in outside of the big three this year. Some people can say injuries. Obviously, Dawson Baker going down hurt. And I'm a big Dawson Baker fan, but I don't know if he would have been able to fix what this team is missing. which is connectivity on offense. And they're a fine offensive team when they're playing Baylor and who else? When they're playing Colorado, right? They're a fine offensive team. But when they're, and as we've seen, when they're going against the likes of a Kansas, a Texas Tech, an Arizona, and a Houston, it becomes a lot of hero ball, even with all the big three in there. And then defensively, Kada has been a shell of himself from what he was early in the season. They just haven't been able to get stops when they need to. It's why they lost to Oklahoma State. Like, this team was already showing signs of coming apart, and this Richie Saunders injury might be the nail in the coffin.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just the I mean, he's he's the greatest glue guy in college sports when it comes down to it. And he's probably your best defender. He's probably your best offensive player in the scheme sense of it. Um, Obviously AJ is a special guy. He's one-on-one type of guy, but when you're trying to run an offense, I'm taking Richie Saunders over anyone else on this team.
In college,
In college, absolutely,
right?
because he's a coachable guy. Um, he's dedicated. I mean, I was able to work with Richie last year.
Yeah,
Did workouts with him and stuff like that, and just the dedication he has to be better. I mean, it's night and day. And you look at the stats, and from freshman year to now, it's just eye
yeah,
popping. Um, but to talk about the team, because this is still a team, you
hmm
hit where I'm struggling the most with this team, and that's defense. I mean, you're giving
yeah.
up 90 to Kansas, 99 to Oklahoma State. You gave up 84 to a good Texas Tech team. You gave up 84 against Utah. I mean, you're not going to win games giving up high 80s, low 90s
hmm
type numbers, especially with a guy that scores 20 going down.
Right, 100%. And even against Baylor, like they won, and AJ had 30 something, and Rob Wright had 30, and I was like, guys, like you're in this game against like Baylor is in this game with you, and you got two of the best performances from Rob Wright and AJ this season. Like that's a bad sign because Baylor's not a good team, you know? And it's just been, I keep telling people like if we had Trevin Nell, we had Foose, and we had Mawit Mag, like this team is a top 5 team in the country. I fully believe that. Like to my being, I believe that like you throw those three on this team instead of what we have this year, like this team is way better. And none of those guys are that special individually, right? Obviously, like none of those guys, you throw them on a Duke or Michigan or a Kansas, like no one looks at that as, oh my gosh, like we got Foose or we got
Mm-hmm.
Trevenel or we got Mawit Mag, right? But they're missing that kind of like grit and the kind of like ability to like, I don't know, just play as a team. It just doesn't, it's very um 5 individuals and not a team. Whereas last year's team was, you know, 1 through 11, they were all bought in, playing the same way, and they had an identity. And this team's identity to me has just been we have talent. But outside of that, I don't know like if there's been that much of an identity set by anyone on this team, you know?
Absolutely. Something I saw on Twitter the other day was this team has come to the fact of it's like when Mike Trout and Shohei were on the Angels together, where
Oh,
Mike
dude,
Trout
that's such a good comparison.
Mike Trout hits 3 home runs, and Shohei Ohtani does something that hasn't been done for 100 years as the Angels lose 8-3.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like is going to happen with this BYU team. It's going to be AJ scores 40 while Rob Wright gets a triple double as BYU loses by 15 to Arizona.
And yeah, to and I here's the thing with the Big 12 and what's kind of wild about this season so far is that the top five, and if you want to throw in BYU, who's still ranked, the top six, best top six in any conference in the country. Big Ten maybe is deep, right? Outside of that, it's not pretty. It's pretty rough outside of that. Like, I mean, you had Jerome Tang got fired. Utah's a dumpster fire. Baylor, shockingly, is a dumpster fire under Scott Drew. That never happens.
Hmm.
Colorado's bad. Oklahoma State's bad. Arizona State's bad. Cincinnati's super disappointing. TCU has wins against Florida and Iowa State, and they have like two quad four losses. That's a team that just doesn't make sense to me at all. And then UCF and West Virginia are okay, and then it's the top six. Like, they're not as deep as other conferences, and so yeah, but that top six is freaking brutal, man. Um, any more thoughts on BYU before we get to the rest of some of the college ball talk?
I just really hope we're wrong about them, but that's it.
I'd love to be wrong. No one loves being wrong more than me when it's my favorite teams.
That's right.
All right, I do have, and let's okay. I'll lay it out like this: Michigan, Duke, and I'll give you whoever you think the better team is out of Houston and Arizona. Um those are you taking those three teams or are you taking the field when it comes to the NCAA tournament?
I'm going to pick Houston in that three,
Okay.
and I'm picking the three
Okay.
because I think those are the three with Arizona. Those are the four most complete teams in college basketball, in my opinion. Um, I don't think people are talking about Duke enough, which is crazy because Duke is a big name and a lot of people like talking about Duke, but
Yeah.
we don't talk about Duke enough and how good Cam Boozer and that whole team is. Because we talk about all these freshmen, but I don't really hear Cam Boozer much.
Right, but if you look at the odds for player of the year, it's like Boozer's like minus odds right now to just like Wooden, Naismith, whatever.
Right.
The Karl Malone I think is a power forward one. Like, yeah, he's got them all. Like, and he's had it all locked up
But we don't talk about him.
since you're right, because one, the ACC just isn't as good as the other teams, and so Boozer's not like, outside of when they play
Mm.
UNC, he's not going against these other, star powered names, right? Like, he's not going against Braden Smith or Yaxel Landenborg or AJ DeBonsa or Kingston Fleming or Koa Pete and Braden Burries. Like, he hasn't really had that. And, every time you turn on a Duke game, they're just up 20. And the only time they lost is when UNC went on a heater to end the game and Christian Anderson went on a heater to end the game and beat them. I think that game was in December. Like,
Mhm.
those are their only two losses, and it's been, in classic Duke John Shire fashion, they just give up the lead late because he's the best. He's one of the best coaches I've ever seen in college basketball, and he's only been a coach for like 4 years. He's one of the best coaches I've ever seen until there's like 4 minutes left, and it's like, what's going on, dude? Like, button it up. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. But the thing with Duke is that they're not like, no one's even comparing Duke to teams this year. It's just, oh, they don't have Cooper Flag and Colin Knippel, who are the runaway favorites for Rookie of the Year this year. And so they're just getting compared to last year Duke, and that's a losing battle for this team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like everyone's just so used to Duke just being Duke. I mean, you have this team with Cam Boozer, and then last year Cooper Flag, Con Knipple. The years before, you got
Paulo.
Zion. You got Paulo Banchero, and then Zion, RJ, and Cam Reddish. Like, you can literally go every 3 years max and find a star-studded team at Duke. And so it's almost just like, oh, let's talk about everyone else because we've been talking about Duke for 15 years. So now we can finally talk about the Kinks and Flemings, even the Iowa State team. We can talk about, oh, BYU's relevant. Oh, guess what? Michigan's looking good. So it's fun. It's almost like we're tired of talking about Duke, which I never thought we would ever get to that day.
Yeah. It's and they've just done a great job at being boring because without Coach
Mm-hmm.
K, there's like no like you don't you might hate the logo because of K, but like you watch this Duke team and there's no animosity. You're not cheering against them like you were a few years ago, right? And so it's just like, oh yeah, they're up 20 against Syracuse tonight. They'll be up 25 against Virginia Tech. And then, your blood boils when they play UNC. And as far as my money goes, that was probably the game of the year. There have been so many great games, right? But like the way that ended, like I guess finish of the year, right? And it was Caleb Wilson versus Cam Boozer, freshman versus freshman. Um, but yeah, Duke is just they're so un, underrated, but they're the one of the favorites to win the national championship. I think I want to say the field jack. If I had asked you this question a month ago, I think you and I both would have said, "Give us the three." Like, it's not even that hard of a
Mm-hmm.
decision, right? But now you got Texas Tech, and you got Kansas, who went on that insane win streak. You got Iowa State. You have Arizona. You have Purdue. You have Illinois. You have Florida, who's looked once again like a top 5, 10 team in the country. Again, like you have a lot, and UConn too. UConn's also being slept on as well, I
Mm-hmm.
think. So it's like, man, you have like 6 to 8 teams right there that you think can win a national championship. Not as good of odds as the three that we talked about, but like those 9 teams, like I'll take in a one-off scenario, any one of those 9 teams can beat Michigan, Houston, or Duke.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's what it comes down to in March. And a lot of people don't understand that is who can get the hottest 6 game streak. And I mean, you saw it with UConn just a few years ago when they came in as what, the 4 seed and they beat everyone by 15 plus. It's because they were the hottest team during that 6 game stretch. And any 10 to 12 of these teams can be the hottest in the 6 game stretch. You saw with Kansas, everyone was writing Kansas off. And then they got hot for 5 to 6 games and dominated the Big 12 for 5 to 6 games. And so, I mean, that's just what it comes down to in March is who's consistent enough to get hot enough during a 6 game stretch.
Yeah. And I think the reasons why we like Michigan, Duke, and for me specifically Arizona is that none of those teams rely heavily on 3-point shooting. Like, and Duke probably relies on it the most, but there will never be a game where Arizona's like, oh no, we're 2 of 10 from three, like we're screwed because they don't shoot threes. Michigan wins games going 30% from the 3-point line all the time. Like they play a style that's way more consistent than shooting, 43s a game or whatever. Um, than some of these other teams in college basketball, but to kind of close us out on the college basketball talk, Jack, I'm just going to start at the top 25 and I'm going to say a team and whether or not they can make the final four. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Michigan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Duke,
Yep.
Arizona, UConn,
Yes.
Iowa State,
Uh, yes.
Purdue.
No.
Wow. Wow.
I don't see it.
Kansas.
No.
Okay, okay. Tell me why on those two teams.
Purdue, I just
Yeah.
don't. I don't see it. I don't see anything outside Braden Smith. And I don't see how Braden Smith and I'm not, I mean, they're good players, obviously.
Fletcher Lawyer.
Fletcher Lawyer, how are they going to stay hot for 4 games? I I mean, it all comes down to matchups, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously like any of these teams could do it. I just
Yeah.
don't see them beating a 1 seed. I don't see them beating a Duke,
Okay.
Michigan, Arizona, Houston to the path to the Final Four.
Right. Okay. I think I agree with you on Kansas. Purdue, it's I need Trey Kaufman Wren to
Right.
play a lot better. And he was awesome last year,
Mm-hmm.
and they were a shot away from beating Houston last year. And I love Braden Smith, man. So honestly, like I I think he's good enough to where offensively Purdue will have a shot to win in any game that they play in the NCAA tournament. And I think, that Virginia team in 19, pretty much every single game was decided on the last possession. I think Purdue can make a Final Four doing that, but I believe or I agree with you that their margin for error is a lot slimmer
Sure.
than the 6 teams ahead of them. Nebraska, Illinois.
No.
Oh, Jack. Not
Yes.
a not a
Yes.
Wagler guy? Not a
I'm not.
Wagler
I
guy?
really am
Okay.
not. If I'm being completely honest.
He's slow,
He
but
just
that's what makes him even
I just
more insane to
I
me.
don't understand this Illinois team. And maybe I just need to watch them more cuz I've watched 2 of their games this year. And like in one game, Wagler was the best player I've ever seen with my eyes, and the other game he was
One
absolutely
for 15. Yeah.
atrocious. So that's what the inconsistency with Illinois, I just don't know if I can buy a Final Four for them.
Talent wise, they can easily make a Final Four. It's just defensively,
Mhm.
they have to they got to be better. And I think, but they're one of these teams where they're so talented. I think it just is taking them like they have games where it's on, and oh boy, if it's on, like there's no one in the
Watch out.
country that can stop them. I think by the time March gets here, I think we're gonna see Illinois go on a run in the Big Ten tournament and perhaps win the whole Big Ten. And if I see that from Illinois, I think that means they're ready to be a Final Four team. But if they kind of, or go out in their first game in the Big Ten, I think that's when you worry.
Mhm.
Gonzaga,
No.
yeah,
Absolutely not.
agreed. Florida,
Yes.
yep. Texas Tech,
Absolutely.
yes. Virginia,
No.
I don't see it either. Dallin Hall is nope, nope. I have a take for you, Jack. I have a
Okay.
take for you. Dallin Hall is the best missed 3-point shooter in the country because every time he misses, a Virginia player gets his miss. It is the most and this is granted I've watched 3 or 4 games from them this season. The SMU game, he shot 8 threes. I'm pretty sure he was 1 for 8, but on the possessions that he took those threes, they scored every time. It was unbelievable to watch, Jack. They might have well have just been assists. They might as well have just been assists. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. And maybe it's because he's just missing a lot in practice too, and they're just able to read the ball better off the rim. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Dallin Hall deserves flowers
He
because
does. He does.
nothing ever shows up in the stat sheet for him.
No.
If you look at it, he's scoring, it's like 5, 2, and 2. But he knows how to win. And he's shown that throughout his whole career. It does not matter. He could be scoring 5, 2, and 2, but his team's a top 25 team no matter where he's playing.
It's it's unbelievable. And
It
I
is.
know I was being a little mean to him. But seriously, he's just a winner. He's a
He is.
leader. He's awesome. He's awesome. He's what makes college basketball great.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State.
No.
I was on the bandwagon,
Nope.
but they just don't have a
They don't have a
guy.
guy.
Yeah. And Jeremy Fears is dirty. So dirty. I mean, they're all dirty. It's it's sad because I'm a Michigan fan and I like watching Michigan State play basketball. I think they're up tempo, they play harder than anyone else on the court. Like that's what makes them fun to watch. But they're just dirty. They're dirty this year. Um it just doesn't flow as well. Um so yeah, okay. UNC with a healthy Caleb Wilson who hopefully his hand is healed for the NCAA tournament.
Fully healthy,
Yes.
100% Caleb Wilson,
Wilson.
yes.
Yep.
Yes. I
I
think
agree.
they could be.
I agree. St. John's, who started the season slow, but I believe is number one in the Big East right now. They're coming
They're
on
playing
strong.
well. I don't see it. I don't St. John's has never been able to do it in recent years in March, and so I can't trust it now. It happens
It's
every
hard.
year.
It's hard because it, they could press their way to a Final Four. Like maybe you remember growing up, there were teams like Syracuse would barely make it in as like an 11 seed. But their zone was so good that no one could score against it for 4 games because they just never seen it before, right? St. John's can do that with their defense. There's just so much variance with how they play, though. Like, they just play so chaotic. It's like, it's an uncontrolled chaos where I'm leaning no, but if they somehow made it, like, Pitino's the greatest coach of all time already, in my opinion, in college. And that would just add to the resume. Okay, now let's get to the really hard ones. St. Louis.
No.
Yes, dude, come
No.
on.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on, dude. They're good, dude. They're
Yeah, but
24-1. They're a top 10 team in Ken Palm on offense. Jack.
so is BYU. BYU
They,
7.
they got the goggles, dude.
It's not happening.
They got the rec specs. You
They're
don't
a
think,
Sweet 16 max.
dude, this if yeah. Rec specs is taking them to the Final Four.
I hope you're right.
I want to be. That's more of a heart. Obviously, that's more of a heart pick. Vandy.
No. I haven't watched Vandy, but
Okay, have you watched Acuff at Arkansas though?
yes. And I do believe they can make a
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, me too. Louisville and Michael Williams or
Brown.
Brown.
Michael Brown, if he's fully healthy, yes.
I think they're one of those teams where they're so dependent on shots going down that an Elite Eight run could easily see it, but Final
Mhm.
Four, you have to make shots for 4 games in a row, and so for that reason, I'm out. Um, the only undefeated team left in the country, Jack, not a Final Four team. Do you think they're a Sweet 16 team though? Do you think they're good enough to make the Sweet 16, or are they not good enough?
If they're a 6 seed or better and they're playing against a Power 4 team, I'm picking the upset. All due respect to Miami, whatever they're called, OU,
Yeah,
OH,
Miami, Ohio.
Miami, Ohio.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but if you're playing against Texas A&M, I will be picking Texas A&M.
Yeah. Uh, BYU, we kind of already covered. I
Yep.
would have said yes in this exercise if Richie was healthy,
Mm-hmm.
because even though I did not think it was going to happen, the talent was there that it still could have.
Absolutely.
Okay, Wisconsin.
No,
They're getting hot at the
they
right
are.
time,
They are. They're playing well.
and no, but they're one of the few. They're one of the few teams that can get into the conversation, which I think we've gone through and we've said there's like 12 to 14 teams so far.
Which is crazy.
Alabama,
No, they
not
play
this
too
year.
fast.
Yeah, not this year. Another team where the variance is just way too high. If you don't have one, they score a lot, but they don't play defense. And so if you are a good defensive team and you're a variant offense, you can still make a Final Four run, which they have multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a high variant team and you don't play defense, that's not a recipe for success in the final to make it to a Final Four. Jack, that was a top 25, and going through that made me as excited for March Madness as I think I've ever been in my life.
Absolutely. I mean, I can even think of teams that could play upset outside of the
For
top
sure, there's
25.
so many
You
teams
got
that can.
Clemson, you got Kentucky, you got Tennessee, you got even Texas, Auburn. I mean, this is going to be the best month of basketball anyone could ever ask for.
Okay. I 100% agree. Jack, to wrap up the podcast, I know it was a week ago, but any thoughts on the worst run by a Super Bowl appearance quarterback ever?
Whoa. Um, no,
By
there's no
far the
comments.
by far the worst numbers of any quarterback to ever make a Super Bowl.
No, there's no comments. I mean, you look at the teams and the difference of the teams, and I want to think to myself that if Sam Darnold and Drake May swap places, nothing would have changed, and I think the numbers would have been the same because Sam Darnold is throwing to, well, one, you're handing the ball off to Kenneth Walker, who is, as he showed, the best running back on the field. Um, and then you got JSN for the first half. You got Cooper Kupp, who's an experienced receiver. And, I mean, the O line, the defense, I mean, just everything
Yeah.
surrounding Sam Darnold was better than what was surrounding Drake May. And so that was the unfortunate part. I would have loved to see a better fight because Christian Gonzalez on their defensive side was what seemed to be the only guy that actually wanted to play in this game. And so, yeah, it was definitely a game that was decided before it even started, in my opinion. But I mean, Drake May, he needs to show up better than he did in that game.
What about the 3 games before that though, where he also was really bad?
I mean, first playoff performance, first playoff appearance.
Yeah.
Again, this team is young.
Yeah.
This team, I mean, your wide receiver one is Keyshawn Booty. Like, can you really say that your wide receiver core is good? And I'm not making any excuses for Drake May because you got to hit your guys if you're going to complete a pass. And so that's what I mean, they were as lucky as you could be in any playoff run we've ever seen.
Yeah. Look, I'm just trolling for the most
It's true.
part. Uh I will say I went into the playoffs thinking Drake May was going to be a top 5 quarterback for the next 10 years. I'm not selling that stock, but after the playoffs, I'm like, is he going to does he right now he's in that Jared Goff tier for me right now. But like could easily elevate himself back up because very similar though both of those guys same career arc so far. Like good as rookies showed flashes, right? Second year they explode. They make the championship. They make the Super Bowl way earlier than expected. They show up in the Super Bowl and it goes about as bad as it can go for them, right? I don't think May is going to get like shipped off to a different team or anything like that. But is he a top like after that it's like is he a top 5 quarterback like I thought he was going in? Not necessarily, but that doesn't mean he he's not. I just don't know. I think we hit the brakes a little bit, but I think I know you well enough to know that you're full steam ahead. You've taken bullets and you're on that bandwagon. You're still plowing ahead like everything's golden, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I still do believe that once the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens retire or get old and become pocket passers, that it's gonna be the Drake May, the Caleb Williams, and that's as far as it goes for young quarterbacks, in my opinion, as of right now.
No Jaden. Jaden if he's healthy.
If he's healthy,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't know
Jaden if
if
he's healthy.
sure, yeah, but I still think those three are going to be the ones running the NFL come 5 years from now. And it's going to be fun to watch those guys for sure.
It is. It is. I'm
But
just
go Drake
trolling.
May. Go Drake
Yeah.
May.
I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling, Jack. Don't you even worry about it. Had to though. Had to though.
You did. You
Um
did.
yeah. Neither of us watched the All-Star game, but I heard it was good, so, maybe we'll tune in next year.
Yeah, hopefully, if it's good. I will not be tuning into the dunk contest anytime soon, though.
Ever again. Ever again. Unless you want to see someone die, I guess.
You see someone land straight on their back, and then the other guy, he just did a classic dunk for his first attempt. So that was just fun all around. But the three
So
point
much fun.
contest was epic.
Yeah, no comment.
He choked.
I
He
know,
choked
dude. I
bad
know on the last, yes, I know. I'm
on the
aware.
last three.
On the last three, he just had to make. See, but
He just
here's the
had to make
thing,
one for overtime.
Jack. That's as many 3-point. He made more 3-pointers in the 3-point contest than he has all season.
Really?
That was the most. I mean, not actually, but he's shooting 30% from three, and he's in the 3-point
Hey,
contest.
he's locked in though.
And he looks like he was gonna run it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. Make him in games, book. That's what I want.
Nope.
Make him in games, dude. Let's come on. Make him in games. All right.
Hey, but I did see really quick that next year's 3 point contest could be one for the history books.
Well, Book will be in it for sure because it's in Phoenix.
And Dame.
Dame
and
and
Steph,
Steph are in.
And Clay.
Hopefully Clay.
Clay will be in it. So then you need 4 other big time shooters. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Donovan, just, big name. I'd like to see Donovan in there, even though he's not really a 3-point. Dude, let's get Concanipple in there. Got to. Honestly, a guy that I think would win it pretty handily, Grayson Allen. I think if Grayson's in
Yeah.
it next year, because it's in Phoenix, so maybe he'll actually get in it. Dude's been shooting 45 to 50% on wide open threes for the past
That'd
three
be fun.
seasons. Let's get Grayson and let's get some guys for the people in there, right, Jack?
Yeah,
Let's get for
let's
our
give
culture.
let's give the Suns a trophy of some sort.
Yeah, no, I was just saying let's get our people. Let's get our heritage.
Oh,
Get
okay.
some
Yeah, yeah.
representation in the 3 point
We gotta be
contest.
able to do something for this
Yeah,
sport.
yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, they were sick of a white guy winning the dunk contest, so they made sure Mac McClung wasn't in it this year.
So hold on. Hold on.
All right, that's the show. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.